Hello everyone, before we get into the video, I would like to mention that if you want to see builds, DPS bench, build links, and some showcases, make sure to check the description. You will find everything you want to know there. With that being said, let's start. Secret of the Obscure expansion changed many builds that I made for medium armor specs, like removing Sanctuary Rune effect from Mechanist and Aristocracy Rune from Specter. But in return, the expansion gave us a great rune for condition builds, which is Trapper Rune, that increases the condition damage a lot, and increases all condition durations by 15%, also access to elite spec weapons, and for that, all Ranger elite specs, Untamed, Soulbeast, and Druid are using the same build. Similar thing to other medium armor specs, only different weapons. Now let me give a quick guide to each elite spec, starting with Untamed. Back in time, I made a build video for Untamed that was able to have all game boons and reduces all skills cooldown. But sadly, this trait has been removed from the game. But now, with a new rune, relic, and dagger, Untamed can now deal higher damage than before. To deal damage, always keep using all weapon skills off cooldown, and use We Heal as one healing skill to refresh all your boons duration. To sustain yourself with this Untamed build, always make sure to use your Dagger Unleash skill, since its significant damage increases and healing. You can use your Dagger Unleash skill twice before swapping to Shortbow. Check the video in the description to see how it works. And finally, to remove conditions, you will need a Brown Bear pet, since it's the only pet that can remove conditions from you. But if you need more condition remove, you can replace Sigil of Virality to Sigil of Cleansing if needed. Soulbeast has lower damage compared to other Ranger Elite specs, but in return, Soulbeast is the easiest Ranger Elite spec to play. The damage difference aren't that high, but it's a fair trade if you're looking for a comfy experience. To deal damage on Soulbeast is the same way as Untamed. Always keep using all your weapon skills off cooldown and your measured pet skills. To sustain yourself as a Soulbeast, you only need to keep inflicting poisons by spamming Dagger 2 and auto attacks, also by using your stance skills for protection, regen, and more poisons. But if you need more healing, also to remove conditions, you can swap to your second merged pet, Jacaranda, to provide more healing and remove conditions, but keep in mind to swap back to Link's pet so you don't lose your passive damage increase. And finally, Druid. Druid has the highest damage among Ranger elite specs, and better AoE damage to kill group of mobs. But in return, Druid is squishy compared to its other elite specs. To deal damage on Druid, always keep using your weapon skills and celestial avatar skills to inflict damage, healing, and remove conditions. Mechanist was the easiest elite spec to use before the expansion release, because it was able to hold perma-alacrity thanks to the Rune of Sanctuary passive, providing more room to easily maintain perma-quickness. But ANET had to ruin this for everyone for no reason. Now Mechanists need to use Mace and Barrier Signet to hold perma-alacrity and avoid using Signet Elite skill to maintain it. And because of that, now Mechanists need to spam all the F skills to maintain quickness uptime. So Mechanist isn't comfy as before, but in return, Mechanist got more damage increase from 17k to 20k because of the new Trapper Rune and Akeem Relic. We can trigger Akeem Relic easily since Mace inflict lot of confusions and skill 3 to trigger the relic when the target has 5 or more confusion stacks. Check the description to see how to deal damage with this build. Holosmith is a fun NG elite spec to use. It has better burst damage and AoE to cleave mobs. With this build, your goal is to reach the maximum heat level to activate this trait to inflict burning damage to all mobs around you. Holosmith can regen stacks to restore its health after leaving Photon Forge. The spec is very simple and easy to use. All you need to do is to use your pistol and flamethrower skills to inflict damage. Holosmith utility: generate boons, stun break, and reduce all incoming damage by 50%. But keep in mind to use Holosmith utility and elite skills when your heat level is above 50%. And finally, you can use your healing turret to remove conditions and the F1 skill to keep the regen uptime. Specter before the expansion was using Aristocracy Rune to keep 25 Might Stacks uptime and to restore its health by using Shadow Art Redline to inflict poisons and lifesteal while casting Stealth Attack. But now with the new expansion and after Specter traits rework, now Specter can stay in range and inflict a lot of torments and poisons thanks to Chronomancer Relic. Now Specter can use Will skills to have Perma Quickness and able to hold 25 Might Stacks. And to maximize the damage, we will use Scale Venom utility to inflict more torment and vulnerability to increase the total damage. And finally, if you need to remove conditions or reduce incoming damage, you will need to equip a second scepter or second dagger that has Cleansing Sigil to remove conditions. Also, you can absorb all incoming damage by staying in Shadow Shroud, since it's count as a second health bar. Deadeye is the current strongest elite spec for medium armor specs. Deadeye can inflict heavy condition damage, high self-healing, and evade all incoming damage at the same time by spamming skill 3. Also, you can use short bow to cleave mobs and CC bosses when needed. That's everything you need to know. Make sure to check the video in the description to learn more. For those who wonder why I didn't make any build for Scrubber and Daredevil, these elite specs lack the ability to either generate their own boons, deal high damage, or unforgiving for mistakes. Same thing falls to the other elite specs I didn't include in the previous videos: Dragon Hunter, Firebrand, Virtuoso, and Chronomancer. Let's take a Scrubber for example. Scrubber can generate its own boons and able to inflict 25 stacks invulnerability, but as you can see in the video, the damage of Scrubber is pretty low, even though I'm using full Berserker gear and full offensive trait lines, because Scrubber lacks the skills and traits to increase its total damage. Daredevil is the only thief elite spec that can't generate its own boons, resulting in low damage, and doesn't have the ability to sustain its health. The only thing Daredevil can do is to time its dodges to avoid getting hit. It can clear events, but not as fast or comfy as its other elite specs, and it's unforgiving for mistakes. That's why I didn't want to promote these elite specs for new players in open world.